The strategy of the campaign is you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there, just not having to be a superhero makes all the difference in the world to that child. So in some ways, it's sort of lowering the burden of what they're feeling. First, the agency, and I have to, Christian Baum and Bond did a terrific job, and Michael Duty was brilliant in his work on this. I think the first step was to look at the strategy, and the strategy, we were a little bit uncomfortable with the strategy, I have to say, because this is not a typical recruitment campaign. We like the focus on the parents and the parents' mindset, but we knew that this approach can go in a sort of an odd direction or a new direction that we weren't really quite sure of. But we had a lot of talk about it, and I think we all really jumped on board once we discussed things that the strategy was going to work.
And there were about 4 or 5 different moments that I can recall where the whole thing could have just gone wrong. Even before the first campaign had launched, whether it was the songs, whether it was the use of humor, the research, when I said, hey, let's pretend this is just a regular product and not a really serious emotional issue. And there were people, as there always are, in somewhere that you didn't even know we were presenting to at one point in Washington, that thought it had to be the way that Steve described it before, which is, this is really hard. It's like being in the Marines, adopting a foster child, and you can do it. You're the chosen one. And we thought that was absolutely the opposite of what was needed. That sort of reinforced the way that advertising had been done in the past.
I don't think we went into that meeting necessarily thinking they were going to for sure go for it. Yeah. I think we all kind of knew that it was going to come up. But I think because, we always talk in our business, like, seems like the best ideas come from true observations. And the strategy came from just this true observation. So even if you were skeptical about comedy, you couldn't be skeptical about what the end message of the commercial was. And I think that's what alleviated, any doubt, which is, in the end, you're making this call to action that people can relate to. Yeah. And I think that eased them.